Alright. Top decks in Speed Duel. Alright, we'll start with Blackluster Soldier. So starting with Blackluster Soldier, it's pretty obvious. This is the obvious Konami hit. This deck is going to be everywhere in the top 100. And, yeah, the limit 3s are going to get hit. The question is, do they also hit the skill? I think they also hit the skill. The fact that the skill is infinite is kind of absurd. Like, every time you summon a BLS, you just get to trigger it? I don't think that that is correct. The skill needs to be like 1 per duel, or something where it goes to like you can't do it on your first turn. But I think it's going to be like, they should just put it to like 1 per duel, right? You get to use it once to summon your boss monster, and if you get countered, that's it, man. There's no follow-up bullshit. You don't get to just keep spamming Envoy of the Beginning and keep, you know, re-adding everything. So you have to play more ritual cards. You might even have to play other ritual spells to play your Blackluster stuff. We'll give you 1 freebie, and that's it. So for Blackluster Soldier, they're not scared to also obliterate stuff that's really strong. Also, this deck wasn't very expensive. So I think the obvious one is Endymion to 3. Okay? It's a rare card, right? It gives the deck way too much card advantage that it doesn't already need because of the fact that the skill is infinite. This alone could be enough, but I think because of the overwhelming numbers of this deck, the fact that it's an inexpensive deck, and it's been around for quite some time, I could see it being hit further. So, my next thing will be the skill. The skill, there's 2 ways they could hit the skill. They could either hit the skill to once per turn, or they could say you can't play anything, you can't play any other monsters but warriors. Like, you can't play anything. All you can play is warriors in your main deck, which are essentially all Blackluster Soldier cards for the most part. You can't play anything, you can't play Valor, you can't play Endymion, and then on top of that, if your Endymion's well, that makes it kind of redundant then, right? So then I think it's gonna be 1 per duel. 1 per duel to bring back, you know, so 1 per duel, you know, when you summon BLS, return cards from Banish pile. The, like, what is it, 3 cards? 3 cards from Banish into GY. That makes sense. So lower the draw engine and just take away the fact that this deck can have, well, not necessarily take away the draw engine, but make it a bit weaker, because then that way they have to choose between the draw engine and the limit 3s. And then the skill being 1 per duel means that they get 1 shot at it. And that's it. If they want to keep spamming their rituals, they have to change their deck and run ritual spells in the main deck. And they need to change how they build the deck. It can't be a 20 card crisp, you know, get to your most powerful cards and, you know, always just have insane follow-up. You know, always just have the ability to win the game the next turn. So I like this. This seems fair. This seems fair. So this is what I think they'll do with Blackluster Soldier. Now, let's see what you guys think. Alright, what do you guys think? Alright. BLS Super Soldier to limit 3. Chaos Form to limit 1. Endymion Magistus to limit 3. That's like obliteration. Holy shit. That, you just, BLS is fine, clueless. The meta, this meta is every deck was back row deck. Also the skill once per duel. Also, don't let the skill activate if you summon Envoy. I kind of like the fact that, like, it has, I mean, I think once per duel should be fine. So BLS, no skill activation from Envoy, once per duel, 3. They will not fix the skill, lazy Konami. Once per duel is fair. If you use it turn 1, then you're screwed for follow-up. Yeah, exactly. And if you get DD Crowed, you're not allowed to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna put it all back, you know? Hunter. What's going on? Kaiser, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. That's the best hit. Can't activate. Boom. Envoy limit 3. I agree. Envoy to 3. Envoy to 3. See you guys. Envoy to 3. Okay, what else? And then, like, you guys also think once per duel? Once per duel. I should put 1 activation. 1 activation. One activation per duel. Now, we're not going to see skill hits right away. We'll probably only see card hits very quickly, but... Alright, what else? I don't want them to hit Gandora. I don't know if that's... We'll get to that. I don't know if it will, to be honest. Harder requirement. Making you run more ritual spells. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? If you're at 1 activation per duel, if you want follow-up, right? You kind of have to, you know, make your deck different. You have to run maybe another copy of a ritual spell in your deck, you know? There might have to be some things like that. 1 per duel, I think, is really, really fair. You know, not this infinite crap where I just summon Envoy, activate my skill. Oh, summon another Envoy, activate my... Oh, another... No, enough of that. Enough of this unlimited skill BS. You know? Okay. So, you guys think Envoy... I'm just going to go for final answer here, because I don't want to spend a million years on each deck. You guys think Envoy to 3 and skill 1 per duel. Is that a good consensus? Not just one person. I want many of you to just say yes. Another option, if you control BLS monster, not if you summoned a BLS. Okay. I think this is good. Also. Whoops. Let me fix this. Okay, so Blackluster Soldier. Okay, cool. Alright. Actually, I don't even have to... I could probably just do this. Yeah, that makes more sense. Where is that? Where is it? Where is it? Alright, whatever. I can't find the freaking... Oh, there it is. Duh. Alright, cool. I should do that. Alright. Okay, cool. BLS is done. Alright, next deck. Next deck. Speed Duel. Alright, Live Twin. Let's talk about the skill real quick. This skill is a little absurd, right? Is this skill fair? Should we be giving skills that are just plus 2,000 life points? I just want to talk about the skill for a second. The skill's kind of dumb, right? For a generic skill. Like, it's too much. It's way too many life points. I think the skill won't get touched. I don't think Konami's gonna touch it, but I think that they should. The skill should be touched, but I don't think they're gonna touch it. They're gonna leave it alone. Because they just designed it. They just brought it out. I don't think they're gonna touch it. The life point 2,000 thing and like recycling your extra deck, essentially giving you 5 free extra deck monsters. I know it's links, but it's still kind of dumb. It's just like, what's the point of playing like Life Point Boost Alpha or like a lot of other skills that gave you life points when you just have this ridiculous one? So, they just recently nerfed the skill that gave people 3,000 life points, and they made it to like 1,800, right? 3 effects. So it's just really weird that they're like, okay, we'll nerf that one to 1,800, and then we'll just make this new generic one 2,000? So then it's like, okay, why would I play 3 effects? I'll just play this? Anyway. So, I'll do... Live Twin is a new deck, but new decks do get hit. They're not completely safe. Especially when you can see people climb to 30 or 40k in one day with this deck. That's how powerful this deck is. The card advantage, the efficiency of this deck, the consistency of the deck is insane. On top of the fact that it uses this new skill that gives them built-in survivability, which then allows them to recycle their whole engine and keep drawing cards and popping you while setting more back row. It's absurd. You guys saw in my duel, a person had 5 interruptions. I don't even draw 5 cards in Duel Links. Unless I go second. 5 interruptions is like Master Duel shit. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. So, for Live Twin, the limit 3s have to go. They're too good. So, what can we limit 3? We're not going to limit 3 the URs. I mean, it's not impossible. But I would say limit 3s are probably going to come to something like within the deck. Like home, channel, passwords, something around here is probably going to get a limit 3, right? Although, they could just not run these, right? But these cards do help them extend. So, let's look at this. I mean, it would probably be for a new deck kind of harsh to hit the ultra rares because they just came out. Guys, quick question. Did Mech Knights survive the first KC Cup? Or did they survived the first KC Cup, right? That, thanks for the follow, bud. Appreciate it. Did Mech Knight survive the first one? They did, right? Okay. So, because of that, it seems unlikely that the main deck monsters are going to get hit. It seems unlikely. They got a slight hit. Yes, it was like... I think they put a limit 1 on the trap. I think it was like they had 2 traps, and they limited one of the traps, so you couldn't play both. You could only play one of them. So I don't think they went too crazy on Mech Knight. They went pretty gentle on Mech Knight. So, that being said, the live twin monsters in the main deck are safe. And I think the extra deck as well is probably safe. I could see like home and channel and or password. So let's see what the best one, discard. I could see like live twin home because they get a free special summon. This is an extender. The password adds a speller trap, which gives them an additional interruption. Okay. And then the channel, which is the field spell, which I didn't really see this come up too much. So I think channel's fine. So I'm going to say home and password. So we're going to say home. Home is going to go to 3 and password to 1. So, or we could put them both, actually, because they could just not play this. They'll just say, okay, I won't play it. So actually, let me change that to, I think both of them just go to 3. They both go to 3. So that they can be played, but you're gonna have to choose. You don't get full access to your limit 3s. Kind of like what they did to Destiny Heroes. So Destiny Heroes and this deck are kind of the same thing, where it's just same generic, consistent combo, set 2 to 3 back row, and then there's a follow-up. So I would say home, password. You could even put the channel. Are many people playing channel? I don't think so. Everyone's playing at least one channel, eh? Oh, look, the present. Present also goes to 3. Yeah, there you go. If you put all of these to 3, they have to choose. You don't get to have all of it. So if you want, you get 1 home, 1 password, 1 present, or you get 2 you get 1 and 1 and 1, or you get 2 and 1, and you don't get to run this. Yeah, and then it completely eliminates their limit 3s. Actually, present should probably be at 1. No, hold on. Never mind. Present to 1. Because they have econ in the deck, and present is essentially an econ, these should not exist cohesively in the deck. So, econ and present, because they're very similar, make them choose. You either play econ or you play present. And then home and password go to 3, so then that way they can't run full. So they go like 1, 1, and 1, or 2 and 1, and you don't get your limit 3s. And then that's it. That's exactly what I think that they would potentially cut. And the skill, as much as I think the skill should get hit, the skill should be hit, but Konami won't. They will not do it. But it should be hit. Legend of Heroes is just too fucking good. But I think if you make their deck a little less powerful with the limit 3s, you take away some of the consistency with them being able to search another interruption, and take away power cards like Econ, right? We're just lowering the power level of them. They can be consistent, that's fine. We just need to lower the power level a little bit for the first ban list, and then go from there. So that is what I think is going to happen here with Live Twin. Let me put JG here first. I'm trying to organize this, sorry. Alright, maybe that's more like it. JG. Chat. I'll just get rid of the Keck W. So I'll just put chat, JG, and then I'll take Blackluster Soldier and put it up here like that. That organizes it a little bit better, I think. There we go. So there we go. So Blackluster Soldier, and then we got my prediction, chat, and then we move on. So same thing. I'll just cut that, put it down here. And when I put this on YouTube, I'm not going to edit this, obviously. I don't care. So, Live Twin, JG. Alright, chat. It's you guys next. Okay. Alright. Pull you guys up. Alright, let me take a look at the, they don't play the field spell. Ban everything, I agree. I can see them taking the limit 3s away from them. Okay, Live Twin, quick play to 3, password to 3, agreed. Yeah, present to 1, remove the econ, might as well. I think the main thing with this skill is to let people character bait. Yeah, it's also like, I understand that people are like, there are characters that never get used because their skills aren't applicable to so many decks. So I like the skill being a way for me to be like, hey, I just want to play like my favorite deck with like my favorite anime character. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the life points being 2,000 and recycling your graveyard and just putting it back in the extra deck so you can just keep going through your combo, that seems kind of absurd. Like, the Avermax thing, no one cares about that. It's just giving the ability to loop through your extra deck. It's like, you basically get 2 extra decks, plus extra life points so you don't die. The skill in itself is just too much. It's too much. If you want to give people life points and maybe recycle like 2 of their extra deck monsters, sure. Let them recycle like 1 to 2. They don't need 5. It's 5, right? Return 4. So they return 4. So cut it in half. Make it 2 and then cut the life points in half to 1,000. That's a lot more tamed. A lot more fair. Anyway. What else? Mostly agree with that. Maybe the link rating. Sean summon Avermax. Well, Sean is, you know, he's built different. Cross swipe being limited again would be funny. Alright, what do you guys think? It's your turn. Do you guys mostly agree with, like, do you guys agree with what I've put? I'll make this a bit bigger if you guys want. Alright, I think chat mostly just agrees. Limited the super rare link. Okay. Does anybody else agree with that? Because, I mean, I would like at least more than one person. We'll get there, A2. We'll get there. We're gonna go through the top decks. We're going through the top decks. I don't have access to the rankings, so all I can do is look at the top decks and go on what I saw the most of. What you guys saw the most of. Okay. Pink, link to 3. You have to play 3. Okay, so you just think the extra deck monsters should get hit? Nothing in the main deck? Present to 1. Cross swipe to 1? I think that's a little too harsh because there's other decks that play cross swipe. As much as that's a chat prediction, I don't know about that one. That's a little much. Present to 1 takes away econ. Yeah, cross swipe's fine. Alright, so you guys want the link and the present to 1. Link to 3, present to 1. Okay. Ban econ? I say econ, as much as I would love econ to not be at 1 and be at 2 so I could fucking play it, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way that it ever comes off at 1. I think it's one of those cards that goes to 1 and gets banned. I don't think it could ever be at 2, right? 2 just seems way too powerful. I think it just stays... I think it's one of those cards that, like, has to just stay at 1. Alright. Since Salad got the limit 1? Well, yeah, basically any deck that can float like crazy, right? Look at it. Like, Live Twin can play Ballista Squad and not fall behind. The fact that they can play Ballista Squad and not fall behind is kind of crazy. The Limit 2 pool is trash. I agree. It is trash, but I think the thing is like, I don't think you can put econ there. Even if you wanted to, like, improve that pool. Because then there's not enough limit 2s in the game where it actually affects, like top tier decks will just be like, okay, I'm just gonna play 2 econ now. And now it's even more horrendous. Yeah, no thanks. It's a weird spot. It's a weird spot. Alright, moving on. Next deck. I guess Tenyi? Talking about Tenyi? Alright, JG. Let's take a look here. Take a look at the Tenyi list. I mean, 3FX is irrelevant. It's all Legend of Heroes. The skill is insane. Tenyi. This is gonna be I mean, this deck is kind of insane. It is an insane deck. It has a limit 1. I think the only card I really have a problem with, I think the Vishuda is a little crazy, to be honest. This card seems very powerful, in my opinion. The Vishuda, I feel like it, you know, let them have a consistency card. They should have this. This is fine. This is an extender. That's fine. They do have protective cards, and they should. I think protective cards are also not unfair. I mean, they can be. I think the problem is just the Vishuda is kind of nuts. The fact that they can just, like, banish and bounce just seems kind of crazy to me. It's also only a super rare. That's why I'm looking at it, right? Like, it is a super rare. I don't think you need to hit I mean, you could hit their consistency, but then you're talking about hitting the ultra rares. And I think Konami is always reluctant, especially if the deck is not, like, the best deck. It's tier 3. Remember, it's tier 3, maybe tier 2. So, I don't think Ashuna is gonna get hit. It makes more sense to give a love tap. It reminds me of, like, Rockets. Rockets wasn't, like, the best, but they gave it a little love tap on the Banish card. The card, it was a rare, right? The card that banishes. They put a limit 3 on it. So, with this, there's gonna be something where they probably go... Limit 3 seems a little harsh here. So why don't we go, like... Yeah, limit 3 on Vishuda and Shathana. Right? Limit 3 on the Shathana and the Vishuda, I think seems fair. I don't think you can touch the extra deck because this is kind of important stuff for them to play their deck, right? This stuff is... It's the graveyard effects. It's the fact that, like, in Duel Links, there's very few things you can do to the graveyard. It's literally only DD Crow and Dweller, right? And even DD Crow is not a sure thing against this deck, because they can run so many copies to extend and play through it. So I really think that Vishuda and Shathana could get a limit 3, or Vishuda and maybe Circle. So then that way, because this card is also kind of crazy, Tribute and Dodge effects is kind of nuts. So it's gonna be... Because we're hitting a monster, I would say Vishuda and Circle. I kind of just want to hit one card, though. They don't have any limits on them. This is tough, because it's a tier 3 deck. You know what? I don't think this deck gets touched. I think this deck gets completely left alone. I don't think this deck gets touched. I don't think this deck is good enough to get touched. Yeah. The more I look at it, it is a strong deck, but I just don't... I don't think Konami will touch it. Do I want it touched? Yes. I would love it to get touched. I want it definitely touched. But I think it just gets left alone. So I think Konami just leaves it. No bans or limits. You guys think the same thing, I would assume? I think it's something that just gets left alone. As much as I like, every time I look at the deck and I'm like, I'm looking at the cards and I'm like, you know what, this card's kind of nuts. But, you know, it's tier 3, so, like, maybe before the box, it could have been looked at as, like, one of those decks to get touched. But I think now, its power level is fine. So, alright. Okay, so if there's a few people who think it'll get touched softly. So here's your time. Tell me right now, okay? I'll give you, I'll give you like a minute, and then after that I want to move on. 1 minute. Tell me what you want limited for this deck. Vishuda, Shathana, and Ves. Circle to 2. Okay. Let's go Circle to 2. Vishuda to 3. I really think Vishuda's a nutso card. But I still just don't think it's going to get hit. Shathana as well. I don't know how to spell Shathana. How do you spell Shathana? Oh, shit, Tana. Oh, why does friggin' DK say Shathana when it's like, it literally just... Yeah, shit, Tana. Alright. Shit, Tana. Cycle and Vishuda to 3. Vishuda to 1? Ooh, that's really harsh. A main engine card to 1? I know he does, but like... Shit Tana sounds better than Shathana. Alright, that's it. You had your say, let's move on. Alright, next deck. Altergeist. Now, this is a fun deck. Not. So, Altergeist got a pre-hit. They're already at a limit 3 with the Meluseek. And the spoofing to 1. Which was probably a good idea, because this deck is fucking annoying. We just don't have the resources to deal with this deck when it just steamrolls out of control. I don't know, though. It probably didn't perform all that well. It's just an annoying deck. Is there a... It is just an annoying deck, to be honest. It's fine. I think it just gets left alone. Put spoofing the 2 and call it a day? Why spoofing the 2, though? I don't know if I really want them to have that card in their deck at 2. No fucking way. This card's insane. Just play Jinzo? Yes. Just play a card from, like, 2006? Surely that is the best win condition, is putting in cards that are unplayable. Put in the Jiznos. Alright. I think chat is also just kind of in agreeance that, like an agreement. In agreeance. I just made up my own word by saying agreeance. In agreement that, it's fine. Agreeance. What the fuck? Agreeance. Just, we are agreeance with each other. Alright, Blue Eyes obviously won't get touched because Keck W Blue Eyes. Yes, YouTube, I'm still watching that. Okay. Rockets. Wow. The extra deck monster just got completely cut, eh? But most of them just ran 1, and then they just ran 2 of the limit 3s. I don't think so. This is just like one of those other decks that's like, it's good, but like... They got hit really early on. I don't think you can hit this deck. If you limit 3 quick launch or tracer, like, yes, you completely eliminate this. It's just too much. The only thing I could think of is like a limit 2. A limit 2 on like quick launch or tracer. Maybe quick launch, because quick launch is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, man. A limit 2 on quick launch or tracer, but that might still be too harsh. I don't think this deck is top tier enough. It's a good deck, but I don't think it's top tier enough. It's the back row? Yeah. It's the back row. Yeah, I think this deck is fine. Okay, what else we got? We can move on. Ooh, people are really gonna love talking about these next few ones. Alright. We've got Trickstar, Odd Eyes, and Gandora. Those are gonna be the last decks we talk about. And then we're gonna get into what we think could get unlimited. Now, I'm not saying, like, completely free, but, you know, loosen the restrictions. So, let's talk about Trickstar, because this deck, it's very sacky, but I think it's fine. I mean, I fucking hate Dark Hole, and maybe Dark Hole should see some sort of limit, but it's only being abused in this deck. To be honest, it's only being abused in this. If you do limit the Dark Hole to 3, you do say, look, you don't get Dark Hole and limit 3 traps. But based on these... Okay. So we got limit 3s and Dark Hole in the same deck. That's kind of toxic. Okay, let's talk about Dark Hole for a second. Could you say Dark Hole? Hear me out. If Hey Trunade is banned, why is Dark Hole completely unlimited? Does that mean that Hey Trunade should come back? Or does that mean that Dark Hole should be limited in some way? Because it's kind of weird that those cards do very similar things. They do very similar things. They enable OTKs. Right? People don't want that to happen. Konami doesn't want that to be a thing, which is kind of what they did with Trunade, right? Like, no more get rid in the back row, no more OTK shenanigans. But Dark Hole kind of does the same thing in this newer version of Duel Links, where there's more boards with monsters on them, and it's not as back row focused. Yes, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Back row links, I know. But I think that this card should see a limit. Trunade is one-sided. I mean, if you activate a Dark Hole going second, I'm pretty sure that's still a one-sided board wipe. If you're going first, you can't abuse it. But like, Hey Trunade, if you're going first, is a dead card. Right? It's either good or trash. But the same thing could be said about Trunade. Trunade, let's say you play against Speedroid, and you have a Hey Trunade in your hand. You go Hey Trunade to their one back row, but they still have Crystal and Clearwing. Pretty trash, right? Doesn't do anything. But if you Dark Hole them, they lose the game. It's game over. Alright, who else is using Dark Hole? Let's check out the Dark Hole stats. Trickstar, Charmer, Keck W, Salamangreat. Okay, Madolche is kind of an annoying, dumb OTK deck, right? Altergeist? Okay, 92% 0. So the 5% of the fools and the 3%. Fossils, I can't. Alright, so not necessarily top tier decks are using Dark Hole. Okay, one more thing before we get into this. Was Hey Trunade being used by multiple decks or just very few decks that could use it really well? When Hey Trunade got banned, there was probably just a few decks that were using it. All decks? All decks. All decks. All decks that could OTK. I played it in TGs. Honestly, I'm gonna come back to this. Trickstars won't get hit because they don't really need it. However, Dark Hole. Not even a deck. I'm just gonna talk about Dark Hole. Dark Hole. Limit 3. This card is kind of a power card. It's kind of close because we don't have Raigeki in this game. But yeah, I don't think this card should be played in conjunction with Limit 3s. This is a pretty powerful card in Duel Links. This is a pretty powerful card. You could also limit to it. That's true, Edkov. You could limit to it. So then that way, the thing is though, is like 2 copies with your Limit 3 back row is like, okay, sure, I guess. Like, it doesn't really, like, I think it has to compete with the Limit 3 spots. Because it is a very powerful card. I guess on release, it was against decks that float. And Dingirsu was heavily around, so it didn't really put in a lot of work. Lately, this card's been putting in a lot of work, though. The Limit 3, yeah, Limit 2s aren't even a thing. Well, the reason why Limit 2s aren't a thing is because they haven't released powerful cards that could go straight to Limit 2. So I think what Konami needs to do is start creating a Limit 2 pool with, like, newly released cards. Like, you could, honestly, bring out cards like, you could start bringing out hand traps that go straight to Limit 2. Or anti-hand trap cards, like Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave should come to this game pretty soon and be auto Limit 2. And then, when you start putting really good cards on the Limit 2 list, like you did with the traps, you can start putting stuff into the limit 2 pool to make people choose. So they only get maybe one copy, or they just play that 2 set, that pair of limit 2s. The only way the limit 2 pool gets good is if you start putting good shit in it. So, hand traps are becoming pretty popular now in Duel Links, with the addition of Valor. There's no way to interrupt them. Maybe cross-out Designator. Automatic limit 2 in Duel Links. Maybe Called By is a little too good. So cross-out Designator comes to Duel Links immediately at limit 2. And then all of a sudden, the limit 2 pool starts to become a thing. And then you can start putting other cards into the limit 2 pool to limit usages. So, Called By going to be selection. If Called By goes to selection box, generally, yeah, that's pretty safe. January, like new main selection box in January, probably. All right, Dark Hole limit 3, and then I'm just gonna put a little side note here that cross out Designator comes to Duel Links very soon and gets immediately limit 2 to limit 2. This will make limit 2 pool more relevant and allow for other cards to be a part of that pool while making it I guess what's the word, not relevant again, but while making it like worth it. Just because like the limit 2 pool doesn't exist. Yeah. The limit 2s tend to be right now just like archetype card, like just within the decks. It's just like Lady Debug to 2, or like Shiranui cards to 2, or Crystron cards to 2. It just seems to be like monsters. There's no generic cards in the limit 2 pool. And I think the limit 2 pool, like the limit 1, like the limit 3, needs generic cards, not just hitting archetypes. The limit 2 pool needs to start putting some generic hits. Too strong? Why, though? Not everybody's going to be able to run the cards that make cross-out good, though, right? This is just a take. This is not what I think will happen. This is what I think should be considered to happen. Crossout Designator is an example of something that the game kind of needs right now because we have a lot of hand traps and there's literally no way to stop them. If I have Valor, you have to have Book. I guess. Like, Book is a pretty good staple, but not everybody's going to play it because Link monsters, right? Or not everybody's going to be able to run that card. You need something a bit more generic and a bit more flexible to counter the hand trap shenanigans that are starting in the game. So, moving on. I think everybody just agrees with this. with the dark hole thing. Alright. Looks like Odd Eyes is like, and Gandora. Yeah, honestly, this deck just needs a skill hit. Honestly, it just needs a skill hit. No more built-in, no more shenanigans from other cards. Okay? This is an Odd Eyes Magician Pendulum deck with a anime Odd Eyes skill. Okay? No more randomly just throwing in tech cards. No more Tackle Crusader. No more Cosmo Dark Lady. No more of that shit. Okay? You get to play your Pendulum monsters. You get your extra deck. Okay? No more of this bullshit. Okay? No more. Just nerf the skill, please. Just do it. It's the right thing to do, okay? Odd Eyes has been around for a long time with tons of freedom and deck building flexibility, okay? It's had a lot of flexibility for a long time. A skill hit, I think, is totally reasonable. And the thing to note is that the skill hit will not kill the deck. It won't kill it, because they can still do everything and get tons of cards in their hand. You're just taking away the power level of like, oh, I can set up 3 negates. Dark Lady, Giant Hand with Clearwing. That's kind of fucked. Okay? So. Skill. Only restrict the main deck, okay, just the main deck, to Odd Eyes, okay, Magician, right, just Odd Eye, Magician, hell, Pendulum monsters, I don't care, put in any Pendulum monster you want. It's a Pendulum deck, okay? Odd Eyes, Magician, Pendulum only. No more random main deck techs for disruption or negates. They don't need it. They get tons of card advantage, consistency, okay, and OTK potential. What more could you ask for? This deck literally does it all. It doesn't need this. This is like just silly. It's just silly, man. So, sorry, Magician, Odd Eyes, I guess Performapal. How do you spell Performapal? Performapal. Performapal. Okay, I spelled it right. Okay. They can't run Tuning Magician? What do you mean? This is a magician. They can use this, I don't care. They should be able to use Pendulum cards. It's a pendulum deck. It's a pendulum deck. Let them play pendulum cards. I don't care. Joker to 1? That should kill it. I mean, it's free to play, but nah. I think the deck's been... It's not a pendulum? What are you talking about? This card is a... Tuning Magician? What? Timebreaker Magician? That's a pendulum. It's a pendulum card. It's a spellcaster. It's a magician. I don't know what you're talking about. Alright. I think this is enough. I think everyone can agree. Skill needs to be restricted. Joker is a free card, but like... They've already got like a limit 1 and a limit 3. I mean, nah, it's fine. It's fine. Take away the +1 that allows only spellcasters and any dragons in the main deck. So, it has to be one or the other. You either restrict the cards they can play in the deck, or you make them not get a +1. You take away the +1. It has to be either or. They're not going to do both. Because there needs to be a relevant pendulum deck in Duel Links. So I don't think... You don't want to kill this deck. They should do both, but they won't. Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's either the +1, I think, because... This is an anime deck. It should remain anime. Cosmo Dark Lady is not an anime Yuya Yuto card. It's just not. Right? Tackle Crusader, no, it's not anime. Get the non-anime out of the anime deck. It's enough. Okay? So. Now we move on to Unlimits. Yeah, exactly. Keep your +1. No more crazy outside cards. Because Pendulums need a +1 because they need cards, right? They need scales. And they only draw 4 cards in Duel Links. So I understand the +1. Pendulums was designed for Master Duel format or you know, Master Rule, not for speed duel rules. So it makes sense. I think that's it. So, let's pull up. Can we pull up banned cards? How do I pull up, like, banned? Like, limited? Oh, I guess forbidden? Okay. Unlimits. Show you the notes? Sure. Yeah, we can review the notes. Just give me 1 second. I just gotta get my browser out of the way. My UI is so trash. Okay. So. Blackluster Soldier. There you go. The Endymion to 3 is what I think. Skill, 1 activation per duel when you summon a BLS. 3 cards from the banish pile in the graveyard. Okay, that's all you get. That's the once per duel you get. I should probably push this down here like this. And then chat thinks Envoy to 3 and the skill 1 activation per duel. So we're pretty much on the same lines. Live Twin. I was thinking password to 3, home to 3, present to 1. The present to 1 deals with the econ stuff. And the password and the home deals with the limit 3 traps. I think Legend of Heroes. So this is Legend of Heroes. should be hit, but I don't think the Konami will. Chat thinks pink, the pink link to 3 and present to 1. Tenyi, we talked about it. I don't think it needs it. But chat really doesn't like it. They want to see it dead. Or extremely lowered in consistency, but it's a tier 3 deck on DLM, so Altergeist is an annoying-ass deck. It would be nice to see cards like Hey Trunade, or maybe like Tornado Dragon, or things to deal with back row decks a bit better, because decks like this do get out of control when they get set up, and it is very frustrating to play against a back row deck when you don't have anything but MST to rely on, or Cosmic. But overall, like, it's not, I don't know if it performed very well at the KC Cup, so it's fine. Rockets are still fine. They're annoying, again, because they can set up negates and disruption with their back row, but not overly broken. Dark Hole, I do think should see a limit 3. That card is so dumb. It is a very powerful card. Very comparable in power level to, like, Trunade, which is banned. And then, yeah, I just thought maybe Cross-Out Designator could see an introduction to the game, because there's a lot of, or called by, because of all the hand traps, and there's literally no way to stop them, like instant speed, right? So you can stop very few things with, like, you know, quick effects, you know, to maybe get your stuff out of the graveyard, or like things that tribute your monsters off the field to dodge Veiler, but not every deck can do that, you know? So relying on Book of Moon is fine, I guess, but I feel like this card could come. I think this card could come, and then you could put it to limit 2, so limit 2s feel more relevant. And then with Odd Eyes, I think everyone can agree the skill needs a restriction. The skill is a little too much freedom. Too much freedom. Okay, I gotta go grab Stella's food. I also need to grab a quick snack for myself because I'm pretty hungry. Give me like 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about unlimits. So get your unlimits ready. Think about what you think should come off the ban list. Wait, did we not talk about Gandora? Oh, you're right, we didn't talk about Gandora. Okay, hold on. We didn't talk about Gandora. Okay, you're right. Good call. Yeah, Gandora Orcust. You're right. Alright. Let's go back to that. There it is. Determination to fight. Okay, so Gandora Orcust. Harpor 3, Nightmare 2, Babel 1. Personally, I just think the skill needs restriction. Yeah, just restrict the skill. That's all. Just this deck. Did you guys see in the OCG that Gandora and Silent Swordsman and Silent Magician are getting their own archetype? So Konami, here's a sweet opportunity to take some of that new support, maybe? I don't know how broken it is, don't get mad at me. But the skill was intended to play Silent Swordsman, Silent Magician, and Gandora. This was supposed to be Yu-Gi-Moto's anime deck with all those monsters, right? And the OCG recently got support for this archetype. Let's just make the archetype this. Gadgets, Silent Swordsman, Silent Magicians. So what Konami could really do with this deck and make it a lot of fun, this deck could be a lot of fun. Just take the Silent Swords slash off of the limit 2. Silent Sword slash unlimited. Okay? Let Silent Swordsman, Silent Magician, Gadgets just be completely free in this deck, okay? And there you go. You got yourself a cool deck. It can have the Silent Swordsman spell negate. Okay, that's a negate. It floats. It can make a floodgate where you can't play any spells with the level 7. Why not? And then you have OTK potential with the Gandora Giga Rays. Honestly, just make this, just get rid of the stupid bullshit cards that like to use the graveyard, where you just pitch the, like, you're literally just using the skill to get free discard fodder for your Orcus combo. Get rid of that garbage. It should just be a like, this would be a really cool deck, and I would love to play this deck if I was playing the Silent Swordsman stuff. The thing is that the Silent Swordsman stuff is limited, and the Slash is a really good card. It's a really good card that you could pitch into the graveyard with your Gandora, and then you banish it from the graveyard to grab a Silent Swordsman from your deck. And then you can normal summon your gadgets. Then you can use your skill to make your gadget into a warrior, and then play your Slash. And then you have a spell negate that floats into a floodgate. And then you set another Slash, so you're unaffected by all cards. Plus you get a permanent 1500 boost. I think that's pretty cool. No one's even playing the other Gandora. So this Gandora is... I mean, this Gandora probably... and if they don't touch the skill, then you have to put the Gandoras on the Limitless. The thing is like, why hurt Gandora? It's a really cool deck. It's a cool skill. It's just being used incorrectly. I love it. It's a cool anime skill. True to Yugimoto. It's just being abused by Orcus. And it's just, that's not how this was intended. Right? This skill, you don't even see people use the Silent Swordsman, Silent Magician stuff. No one transforms their gadgets into anything. So, me personally, just restrict the skill. Restrict the skill to only gadgets, Silent Magician, Silent Swordsman, and Gandora. This will allow for, potential unlimits to Silent Sword Slash, which is currently at limit 2. OCG just revealed support for this archetype. So, would be kinda cool if they brought it to Duel Links. In the future. I think the skill is cool, well thought out. A well thought is cool and fair. Just shouldn't be abused by other non-anime decks. That's all. Just, it's an anime deck. That's how it should be. Keep it that way. OG Gandora to 2. And skill to twice per duel. Gigantic to 1. Okay. This is fine. 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 That's fine. This goes with my earlier. Okay, slash to 3 with Gandora skill restriction. With skill, yeah, exactly. Charge, void, yeah. All right, I think it's time for Overflow to. I mean, Overflow's kind of nuts. I think Overflow stays. Rhino Bus is kind of good too. Scrap is kind of a stall card, so yeah. Star Seraph. I think it's fine. Star Seraph to limit 3. Cyber Load Fusion. Cyber Load to 3. Fusion a monster. Yeah, why isn't this card at 3? Just put it to 3. Why not? Cyber Dragons have been dead forever, right? No. Target one card you control, it gains attack equal to its current defense. Otherwise, the monsters you control cannot attack. Why is this card at limit 2? I mean, I guess it is kind of cheesy. It is a pretty cheesy card. But like, with so much back row these days, are you really going to pull this off? I don't know. What is this? Do we care about this? Yeah, Overflow is really good, but I think the Fusion's fine. Yeah, I guess this card's kind of crazy, right? It's a cheesy OTK card. Let's get Silent Swordsman into the game with Gandora. Star Seraph at limit 3, so you can't just draw like a bunch of limit 3 traps if you pop off. And Cyber Load Fusion, same thing. Just limit 3s can't be in the same deck, but give Cyber Dragon a bit of a buff because they've been hit for a while. That's good. I'll let you guys decide this one, though. But this is what I think Konami would realistically touch. I mean, personally, the whole Silent Swordsman Gandora thing is something that I'm always skeptical when it comes to, like, opportunities like this that Konami could take. But I think it's a great opportunity to introduce, like, I think this is like a good way to like restructure the whole Orcus Gandora shenanigans without killing Orcus, and without killing Gandora, right? It's a good way to, like, kind of create a new deck within the game without really having to kill any other deck. So I'm just gonna... It could be Copium, this, but I think it's totally fine. These are more realistic, though. I would say that these are very likely that Konami does this. But, alright, you guys think Holiday should come off? Keep seeing everybody, like, go crazy for Holiday. I guess half my chat is a bunch of, Ayaya enjoyers, so I will definitely be, letting the FBI know about you. So, Holiday free. Yeah. I've got your names, and I'll be letting them all know who you are. Debug. So, Holiday and Debug free. Holiday should be on the ban list. I mean, Witchcrafter's a pretty annoying deck. Deck. I didn't say dick. I said deck. I said deck. I say Overflow to 1. Then Cyberload to 3. Really? I mean, I know Overflow is really powerful, Timaeus, and I understand where you're going with that one. That's like... I don't think that's outrageous. But, like, Cyber Dragons have just been so shit for so long, right? Like, they've just had so many nerfs, and they don't really get a lot of support, so why not let them just have 3 and 2, right? Alright. Everybody... So, everybody in chat wants to go to jail, and they want debug. Alright. So they can't run Storm with it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because if you put Cyberload to 3, then they can run 2 copies of Overflow, which is more consistent for them to go to combo it with Storm. That's good thinking. Yeah, that's good thinking. Okay. Sure. But Cyber Dragon doesn't need a limit 1 at all, eh? Like, Cyber Dragon doesn't use limit 1s at all. So, that probably is fine. It just seems a little weird, though. I mean, it's a 2-card combo when you think about it, though. It's a 2-card combo where you only have 2 of one card and 1 of another. I don't know. Oh, I see. Activate Storm Chain Overflow, wipe the monsters, and then wipe the back row. But Storm is only going to wipe 1 back row, right? Because you're only blowing up 1 Overflow. So you're trading 2 cards for a potential +1 or 2. Like, yeah, there's a potential +1 there. But it's a 2-card combo. Right? It's a 2-card combo. And then search Cyberload Fusion immediately? I don't think they'll do it, but I understand the logic. But maybe. I would say that this is something that, like, I would just copy here. Because this is all you thinking about. I wasn't thinking about this, so I'm not going to take the credit for it. You guys can have the credit for this. And I'll just stick to my prediction. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Because I didn't think about that, so I won't take the credit for that. Alright, limit 3. But it makes sense. I understand how you're thinking. Alright, limit 3. Also, what am I listening to right now? The fuck is this? This is a Master Duel theme? I feel like I'm in a PS1 JRPG. What the? Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Traps, Harp, Beatrice, Rocket, Blessed Wind. Unfortunately, even though this card is not very good because it's competing with all these other things, it has to stay because it is very good otherwise. It's also an ultra rare and it's also a selection box. So, yep, staying. Neos Fusion. Here we go. Neos Fusion to 3. I mean, to unlimited. This is not even copium. I honestly think that they only restricted Kluger to 3 because they were mainly worried about this. But they forgot about this. And so I think because heroes aren't doing shit, this should come off. So, yes, you get to play 1 to 2 Kluger. Yeah, Neos Fusion off, for sure. Melody can stay. Meluseek Circle is really good. All this can stay. A part of me thinks that, like, this should come off. And it should. They should have just... I know why they did it, though. They said, look... It's free to play, and these are the limit 3. You know what? Unfortunately, I think Malicious might be one of those cards for a long time that just stays on the limit 3 list, and it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, but I just don't know. Because of Destiny Hero and limit 3 traps, I don't think this card's coming off for a long time. Even though I think it should. I just don't think Konami's gonna free it. It's really sad, man. Inherently... Oh, fuck. Why'd they do that, man? Why? It's all because of the Destiny Hero skill. Anyway. Jet Synchron. Floodgate. Call. Yeah. 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 Tour Guide, eh? You can't even play more than one copy of this. This is also in a selection box. It was reprinted. This should come off, right? Scrap Recycler can come off because Valor is becoming more relevant. I don't think that's a good enough reason. I don't know about that. If you're gonna say that because of this card, then you would have to free Tour Guide. Right? I think... Yeah, if you free this card, you free this card. Like, 100%. The difference is that this is free to play. This doesn't cost any money. This costs money. Tour Guide cost... If anything, Tour Guide was a bundle, and then it became a money wall to get more copies, which you can't even use. You know what would happen, actually? I think Tour Guide actually... Maybe Tour Guide stays, but they free Beatrice. Yeah, maybe Tour Guide stays, but you free Beatrice. I'd say this stays. 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 This card, I think it will stay just because it is a stall card. So yes. Sure. Sure. Sure, sure, sure. Beatrice, though, could probably come off. Yeah, I know that. I know that. Beatrice is used in other decks, but, like... Destiny heroes already have a limit 3. And so does Odd Eyes, right? Well, we're giving them Savant Thomas, right? And the reason why Slime stays there is because you don't want the limit 3s going into the deck. This is fine. I think Beatrice should be fine, right? Like, if we look at Odd Eyes... Where do they even put a Beatrice in here? They don't even have room for it. See, they got double pit. Double pit pen call. They can't even put Beatrice in here. So, what's the other deck that's using Beatrice? Destiny Heroes? They've got Malicious at 3. And they're using a limit 3 trap with Malicious. So, that's irrelevant. And Burning Abyss is not even meta relevant. Like, Burning Abyss? Like... Where's Burning Piss? Yeah. Let them play. Let them play as many Beatrice as they want. And 3 tour guide. Right? Why not? Or just put Beatrice to 2. But no, if you put it to 2, other decks can play it then. So it has to stay either... So maybe it's better to just make Tour Guide unlimited and keep the Beatrice on the list. Because this is a super rare and this is an ultra rare. Yeah, why not? Beatrice stays, but Tour Guide gets lifted. Yeah. Yeah. I think Beatrice stays put. But we lift Tour Guide. Because this card's in a selection box, and then it's going to come in a main box. Yeah, I know, generic fiends, but like, what generic fiends are you really going to abuse with this? Like, this is literally just going to be good with, like, Burning Abyss. And Burning Abyss doesn't even have, like, a ton of crazy combos. It's a pretty, like... It's not like you got Cherubini and the whole shebang and Graph. You don't have any of those cards. Yeah, exactly. I think it's fine. I could see that happening because it got introduced into a selection box. So why not? And then everything else is fine. Everything else can stay. Yeah. Alright. Alright, skill nerfs. Skill buffs. Oh, sorry. What did you guys think for Limit 3? Oh, you guys want free Meluseek, free Malicious, and free the Salad card? The Salad Circle? Alright, there you go. And Slime? Alright, so you guys are okay with this? This is what you guys think Konami will potentially do with Limit 3s? So one thing I just forgot to mention at the very end of the video is skill nerfs and potential buffs. The three main things I think need to be addressed is Gandora, Pendulum, and Sealed Tombs. Those are the three skills. I also think Legend of Heroes should be slightly nerfed, but it's brand new. It probably won't happen. But these are very likely, I would say, because Gandora's been around for a while, Pendulum has been around for a while, and so has Sealed Tombs. And Sealed Tombs has been abused for quite some time. So I would say, especially now with Infinitrax using it, which is just like, again, this skill was intended for, you know, Ishizu and Gravekeepers. It wasn't intended for Infinitrax to be cosmic cycloning their own card in order to trigger it turn one after they've gone through like their whole deck, doing their combo and drawing multiple cards, and then setting up an untargetable, you know, giant monster that's not so easy to run over and kill them. And because you're floodgated by the skill, right, it's even harder, right? Because you can't banish things. And a lot of decks need to banish or do things in the graveyard that require banishing. You can banish on the field, but that's not nearly as good as banishing in the graveyard. So this skill, please, just, I don't know, it would probably even be enough to just make it 1500. You know, that way it's not a simple single Cosmic Cyclone. You know, that alone would make the activation requirements a lot easier. But yeah, I think Gandora should just be turned into an anime skill, purely in the sense where like the Silent Swordsman stuff, the Silent Magician stuff gets used a bit more because it's not really being used at all. It's just literally this skill is just anything that needs the graveyard or needs things to get to the graveyard quicker. Gandora does it, while also being pretty consistent at putting stuff back that they don't really need in order to go into their Gandora combo. Yeah, this skill is just is good, and I like it, and I think it's pretty cool overall. And with the OCG also kind of showing some new support with Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman and gadgets and stuff like that, it'd be a really good time to maybe just make this kind of like that. You don't have to necessarily add in that new support because that's probably intended for, you know, Master Duel power level. But I would say at the current state with Duel Links, yeah, I would just, you know, maybe unlimit some of the Silent Swordsman stuff and, you know, get this skill restricted to, you know, it can only be gadgets, Silent Swordsman, Silent Magician, maybe even like generic warriors can make their way into the deck, but that might still be a little finicky, I don't know. The Pendulum skill, same thing. Just get the random crap out of there. I don't think you need any more card hits because it already has been hit quite a bit. I would just honestly, again, Odd Eyes, Performapal, Magician, you know, anything just related to the archetype itself. Anything like Cosmo or Jinzo, you know, no. None of that. Get that crap out of here. And then I've touched on Sealed Tombs. You can tell how much this skill triggers me, especially as a hero player. But, yeah, the fact that this skill can just be activated so easily and lock you out of a game, that is kind of disgusting. Like, a skill not letting your opponent play the game is disgusting. That just should not happen. Skills should be basically ways to amplify your own deck, to help your own deck do better. It shouldn't be causing your opponent not to be able to play the game. Okay, like, that's when it gets to the point where, like, that's bad design, that's unhealthy, and, you know, you can't stop skills, right? At least I can potentially stop a card from doing something like this, but I can't stop a skill. So this needs to be a harder activation requirement ASAP. And I think by now, after it's been kind of left alone for quite some time, I think now is the time for Konami to say, okay, now Infinitrax are using it. Before it was like Abyss Actors and Orchist, and okay, it's being used again, and I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple decks were using this in the top 100, where they would say, okay, maybe not a ton of decks, but still, this skill needs to be nerfed. And then I think just one skill buff that I've noticed could be used for a long time is the Evil Hero skill. This skill on release literally did nothing. It was a dud. It's almost like it had no impact. Malicious Bane, I don't think has ever seen the field. And with back row just being so prevalent, it's not like Malicious Bane is broken, right? Like, yes, he can't be destroyed, but it's not like it's like the Photon Lord skill where you can guarantee get, you know, Malicious Bane out easy. Like, you have to draw the Super Poly, and that's a hard one of that's not necessarily easy to search, and then you have to reveal it in order to activate the skill and add the Malicious Bane to the extra deck. And the fact that, like, your deck just doesn't do a whole lot because the Evil Hero cards are just really bad and old and super power crept, like, they're just really bad. You're very restricted in your extra deck where you're just basically playing Exceeds and really bad Evil Hero, you know, fusions. And in the main deck, all you have is a bunch of normal summon cards, which is like Stratos, Solid Soldier, Dusted Gold. Like, you don't really have any extenders. Yes, you could play Dark, you know, you do have the Dark Calling, but your Dark Calling, like, beat sticks. And we all know that beat sticks don't do anything in this game anymore. So I feel like this would be a cool buff to just kind of lift some of the restrictions to the extra deck and the main deck. Let other heroes be a bit more, be able to mesh. You know, you don't have to print new cards. You literally just have to make this skill like, hey, give a hero deck, you know, access to Malicious Bane. That would just be cool, you know? Why not? I don't think that would even make the deck top tier. It would just make heroes have another cool option, you know, to play the game. And if they want to make, if they don't want to give too much freedom with the Vision Hero stuff, then fine. Then I would say at bare minimum, free up the extra deck so you can play Sunrise and Trinity and Adoration or whatever other hero fusions you want, and, you know, and Wonder Driver. You know, like, you should be able to use those cards at the very least. If they don't want to let go of the main deck. They want the main deck to still just be Elemental and Evil, and that's it. No Vision stuff. But I think the Vision stuff, honestly, why not? You know, it doesn't seem like Konami's going to be printing anything to support, you know, kind of like the Duel Links version of Omni Hero for a long time. So this, I could see being a cool thing to just give a little bit of a buff. I'm sure there's other skills that could get buffed or could be improved upon. But to be honest, like, I don't really know too much about other skills right now, and when I was talking to chat, they didn't really bring up anything that they were concerned about, so this was the one thing that came to mind, and I think a lot of other people kind of were like, yeah, the skill is pretty crap. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if it was too long. If it's too long and you didn't like, you know, the fact that it was basically just kind of like an edited stream version of the ban list, then what I can do going forward is maybe just do, like, you know, the live stream full dealio, get all the information, you know, between chat and myself, and then just make a quick, you know, 10-minute video of summarizing everything that we went over in the stream. And then you don't even have to see my face, you can just hear my voice, see the notes, hear what I have to say, and that's it, and it's a little bit shorter. But I'll just go with the live stream footage that's been edited for now. Let me know what you guys think, and then we can go from there. I really appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.